I can't buy the air I breathe. I can't buy the trees. I can't buy the deepest seas. But it don't matter, 'cause they're there for free.
Hello and welcome to Around the World in 88 Tales. I'm David Heathfield here at the Royal Albert Memorial Museum in Exeter, and today I'm delighted to say we are in Exeter and Lima, Peru, with Glenda Gallardo. Hello, Glenda.
Hello, everybody.
Great to
Yes,
see
I'm.
you.
Yes, I'm very happy to be connected to so many people around the world, and feeling that for a moment I am in Exeter, and well, here I am to share. Yes, I'm from Lima, Peru, and well, I'm very happy to be here to share. It's a Peruvian story. Yes, it is.
Fantastic. Before
Mhm.
we begin the stories, can I ask you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in storytelling and this project?
Yeah, sure. Well, I am an English language teacher here in Lima. I work at two universities, and well, I had always heard about storytelling, but thanks to IATEFL, really, it was thanks to that event that I got to see. I mean, what it was like better, because well, I joined the session where more teachers, or not only teachers, were sharing stories, and then I got very engaged, and then I learned that there were techniques, and I thought this has so many useful things I can benefit from as a teacher and also in my life. So I think this is gonna help me teach English better, and also it's going to make me feel more confident about public speaking. So I feel that it's got everything I want, I'm looking for right now. So that's why I'm interested in learning to tell a
Fantastic.
story, feel confident about it.
Fantastic. Well, let's get to the stories. You know, nearly 30 years ago, I visited your country. I came to the Andes. I was in all the famous places like Machu Picchu and also Lake Titicaca, where the Aymara people are, of course, and not just in Peru, but also in Bolivia and other countries. And when I was there, I heard some stories, but the story that I'm going to tell is inspired by an artifact, and it's a story that I've only just learned. So let me show you now the artifact. I mean, maybe people can guess the greatest flying bird in the world, the biggest bird of all. I wonder if the people watching are going to guess what this artifact is going to be, because in the museum we have many taxidermy animals and birds, huge, thousands and thousands and thousands from all parts of the world. And of course, one of the most famous and iconic for the people of the Andes is the condor. And the condor, as we know, is a kind of vulture, but the biggest of all. And with a huge wingspan, it can reach more than 3 meters, 3.3 meters, I hear. And this is a male
Mm-hmm.
specimen, a male Andean condor.
Mm-hmm.
It's the national bird of Peru and Bolivia, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it's got a white ruff of feathers around its neck and white patches on its wings. And they can live for a long time. I read that they can live for up to 70 years, which is incredible. So the story that I learned is about two birds, and the two birds are the biggest bird of all, the
The
condor,
smallest.
and the smallest bird of all, the
Yes.
hummingbird. So let me tell you my story from the Aymara people.
Mm-hmm.
Long, long ago, in the early days, when the hummingbird was big, there lived a chief's daughter, and she walked with her herd of llamas through a deep valley, and as she walked, she picked sweet red berries. A shadow appeared above her. The magnificent, huge condor was flying and saw this girl below. But she didn't notice. She continued picking berries, and suddenly there was a stranger behind her. And she looked round, and he was handsome, and he moved with a great calm. I will help you to pick your berries. And together, very quickly, they had filled a whole basketful. Now, he said, what shall we play? I will carry you on my shoulders. And he easily lifted the chief's daughter onto his shoulders, and he ran. And as he ran through the valley, she laughed, she shrieked with joy. Well, soon he stopped, and he said, now it's your turn to carry me. And he put her down. How can I carry you? You are tall and you are bigger than me. I am not heavy. And he went behind her, and he put his hands onto her shoulders, and he said, run. And she ran, and he wasn't heavy at all. He was so light. He gripped onto her shoulders, and she ran fast, and she shouted with laughter, but suddenly she found the ground was falling away beneath her feet. She was being carried up into the air. And when she looked up, she realized that this was the condor, and that he was holding on to her with his talons and carrying her high, high up into the mountains to the top of a sheer cliff. And at the top of that cliff was his nest. She had become the condor's wife, but against her will she had been tricked. And when he went to bring her food, the food was carrion, the flesh of dead animals, and sometimes the flesh was beginning to rot. She could not eat it, and she cried. Far down below at the bottom in the valley, her father, the chief, was looking for his daughter. He found the basket of berries. He found the herd of llamas. But where was his daughter? But now, flying towards him, with wings that moved so fast, was a huge hummingbird, like all colours of green and blue. I know where your daughter is. She was tricked by the condor and has been taken to his nest as his wife. Take me to her, said the chief. I will, said the condor, if you will allow me to drink the nectar from all of the flowers in your valley. Of course, I give my word. Now show me to my daughter. And the hummingbird, the huge bird, flew with its wings moving so fast, hovering higher and higher, and the king tried to follow. The chief followed up the mountain. Higher he climbed. Finally, in the snowy mountains, he came to that cliff, but it was too high, too sheer for him to climb. Wait, said the hummingbird. And the hummingbird flew up and up and up to the ledge where the condor's nest was, and hovering beside the nest. Condor, the condor turned. Your wife, she is human and cannot eat the meat that is raw that you bring for her. She needs cooked meat. I have flown from a valley on the far side of the mountain where the people in their village are roasting alpaca meat. Go and find that meat for your wife. And the condor knew that the hummingbird was right about the cooked meat. And he lifted his wings and he dropped from that precipice and swooped, carried in the warm rising air to the far side of the mountain. Quick, said the hummingbird, climb on my back. I will carry you down to your father. And glad, the chief's daughter climbed onto the beautiful hummingbird's back, so iridescent as he shot downwards. and she was in her father's arms, and they made their way down to their valley home. Finally, when the condor returned to his nest and found it empty, he knew he had been tricked. He had found no villagers cooking alpaca meat. That hummingbird has tricked me, and he was furious. And the condor swept down from the mountaintop and looked for the hummingbird. And above that valley he saw that great hummingbird flitting from flower to flower, drinking the nectar through his long beak. The condor flew down and caught the hummingbird in his talons, brought him to the ground, and in his anger, the condor tore the hummingbird into 50 pieces. Then he ate every piece and flew back higher and higher, rising on the warm air currents to his rocky nest. But he could not rest. The condor was in pain. His belly gave him great discomfort, and then suddenly, from inside his belly, he felt something sharp, and suddenly more and more sharp beaks pierced from inside his belly, and out from his belly flew 50 tiny birds, each shining all colours bright in the sunlight. It was the hummingbirds, and they flew down, down, down. After that, the condor never returned to that valley. The chief's daughter walked with her flock of llamas. She walked through the valley, and instead of picking berries, she looked at the flowers so bright, and in every flower she saw a tiny hummingbird drinking the sweet nectar, and she was glad, and she was safe. That's the hummingbird and the condor's wife, and that's a story from the Aymara people. And I found that story on a blog by a writer called Nina Zumel, and I drew a lot of inspiration from her telling, although I've retold it in my own way. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. Glenda, have you heard that story before? Please unmute, Glenda.
Yes, I have heard the story, and it's very common for tour guides to tell you this story because I don't remember in which part exactly, but there is a spot in Cusco where there is one of the mountains, there is a craving of a condor and a hummingbird, because there are many stories. Yes. And I will also be sharing a story about a condor and a hummingbird.
Wow.
And
so your story also is about a condor and a hummingbird, but it's another story.
yeah, it's another one, but it's not about killing or tearing somebody into pieces. But the but well, the condor it is you see there it's a kind of vulture, and it looks like that. It's threatening. I don't know. You've seen one in front of you. It's a huge bird, and the older it gets, it's like, I don't know. It's scary to see it.
Glenda, please tell us your story.
Yes, the name of my story is How the Hummingbird Became a Royal Bird. Okay, so one day, yes, a hummingbird approached the King of Heavens, the condor. The condor is the King of Heavens, is the messenger of the gods. So the hummingbird came to him and said, "Condor, I believe I can arrive to the realm of the gods." "That's impossible, hummingbird. Only royal birds do that." "But condor, let me try. You are our leader. It's honorable to accept challenges." Okay, tomorrow morning before sunrise, and I'm going to gather all birds in the animal kingdom to see your failure. Well, all the birds, all the animals were really excited because they had never ever seen a bird, a hummingbird, flying near a condor. And it was sunrise, and everybody was waiting, but the hummingbird didn't show up. Maybe he has already started flying without the condor, said a bird. Or maybe he gave up. That's wise, said the condor, and started flying, followed by the eagle, because the eagle is another royal bird, and it's allowed to fly beside the condor. Above the condor and the eagle was the hawk, because hawks are guardian angel and guardian birds, and it's allowed to fly with royal birds. And below the condor and the eagle were all the other birds. Everybody was flying as high as they could. Then, at the realm of the gods, guess who was there? The hummingbird. Condor, you arrived. What took you so long? What? This is impossible. How did you do it? I'm here, said the hummingbird, showing its feathers and its happiness and joy for being in the realm of the gods as the condor. We have to see the gods. We need to take you to see the gods. So the hummingbird was taken to the gods, and there the sun god said, Hummingbird, blessings on you, little hummingbird. From now on, you will be the messenger of men. Please go back to Earth and spread the message of initiative, creativity, and self-empowerment. Oh, yeah, we have to go back to Earth. Yes, we need to celebrate. Everybody needs to know this. So the condor's attitude changed. The hummingbird was quiet, but then asked, okay, let's go back to Earth. But condor, will you allow me to ride your tail? It turned out that the hummingbird had reached that height thanks to the friendship with the other birds. He had asked them for help, and that's how he got to this height. So, dear friends, remember, no matter how small you are, no matter how impossible a challenge may seem, if you have initiative, creativity, self-empowerment, and the support of your community, you will be able to achieve your goals. Yes, thank you.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. So the hummingbird rode in the condor's feathers.
Yes.
And I love the message there. Initiative, creativity, and self-empowerment. That's what the hummingbird shows us and teaches us in that story. And how did that story come to you, Glenda?
Well, this story is one of the many stories my grandma used to tell us right? Well, she knows a lot, and I've been trying to find where these stories are. But this is one of the stories I remember because I like hummingbirds. And whenever I see a hummingbird, yes, it's like a reminder of that. Yes. I've changed the word self-empowerment. My grandma didn't say self-empowerment at that time, but now I feel I understand that that's what she was meaning when she told me that I was powerful, that we could do what we wanted, and we had people who could always give us a hand to achieve our goals. So it's very personal to me, and it's a very beautiful memory I have of my grandma.
I'm guessing that in the mountains we can see the condor, but maybe not in Lima where you live. But
No,
you have
just in,
hummingbirds in Lima.
yes, we do. We do.
They're
We
such
don't see
beautiful
them
birds.
very, yes, we don't see them very often, but you get to see them. Especially, it depends. For example, at one of my workplaces, there are these flowers and they appear. I mean, right now is the moment. October, November is when you see them more often.
Summer. It's your
Mm-hmm.
summer, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. How
Spring.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Glenda, I want to say thank you so much, and please write in the comments what you feel about the stories. And there were so many parallels in the two stories, weren't there? Both
Yes.
stories, the kind of condor was in a way using his power and his size
Mm-hmm.
to assert his dominance, and actually it was the hummingbird that was smarter.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, in both the stories, is the hummingbird that is always trying to trick or think
yeah,
creatively how to do things.
fantastic. Again, thank you, Glenda Gallardo, and
Mm.
thank you very much for
I
being part of the
can't
project.
buy
Yeah, thank you, David, and thank you, everybody, and see you
Bye.
around.
I
Bye.
can't buy the trees. I can't buy the deepest seas, but it don't matter, 'cause they're there for free.